Mridanga Namo Namaha. Jai Garanga Jana Shingadev. Okay, good morning everyone, or at least my morning. We've got 3 new mantras to go over today. Last time we were looking at Dagurugur. Now we're going to go back to some hand practice with tereketas, geneteres, and just expanding a little bit more on the rudimentary patterns, and then just adding a little bit extra so that you can see how you can start to build a little bit more interesting mantras that can be used in kirtan. We have the basic building blocks that we're learning, the bols, tere, deredere, gene, all these different, kind of small building blocks, and then we're learning deredere, deregena, deredere, keta, tereketa, tereketa, teketake, tereketa. So we have these little phrases. So today we're going to kind of take those and just expand upon them and make them into a little bit larger mantras that you can use. So we've already learned this part, but the second part is a new kind of style of playing. So we have tereketa, tereketa, teretere, tereketa, teketake, tereketa, kenetake, tereketa, teketake, tereketa, kenetake, tereketa. So tereketa, tereketa, teretere, tereketa, teketake, tereketa, kenetake, tereketa. We've learned that already. Second part of the mantra, now we're adding extra. Instead of taka, anytime you have a knock or a tak, you can go naka, taka, you can go knock, you can just go tak. If you want to have a mantra in double speed that's going quite quickly, but you don't necessarily want to kind of have a mantra that is just fully rolling, and you want to have something that has a lot of emphasis, and it kind of allows the mantra to stop a little bit just for you to catch your breath in terms of your hand speed, then instead of going taka, you can just go tak, and it gives a lot of power, and it's closed. It's a te that's closed, strong. So tereketa, tere. Te is soft here. Tak is very strong. So tereketa, tereketa, teretere, tereketa, teketake, tereketa, kenetake, tereketa, ketetere, tereketa, ketetere, tereketa, 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 ketetereketa, tak, tereketa, teretere, tereketa, teketake, tereketa, kenetake, tereketa, ketetere, tereketa, 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 ketetereketa. So you have 3 tereketas in a row here as well, and but they're split up across the tall, essentially. So you have keta, tereketa, that's its own piece, and then tereketa, tak, tereketa. But you're playing 3 tereketas in a row, so it's also getting your hand speed up, getting more comfortable using a lot of tereketas in longer kirtan mantras. And let's also, so the first part of this mantra, so we have the Bol Jati, how it's overlaying over the tal, and that's all in Catur. We've got 2s, tereketa, tereketa, teretere, tereketa, 2s and 4s, teketake, tereketa. So that one is Laya Jati Catur. We have 2s and 4s, Bol Jati Catur. The last section, though, is a little different. We have keta, tereketa. That's still normal. The last part, though, the Laya Jati is in 2s, tereketa, ketetate, ketatak, tereketa. But the Bol Jati, in terms of how we're using those to overlay the tal, so we have tereketa, and then ketetereketa is generally its own. And then the Bol Jati of Tisra, 3, keta, kete, keta, kete, keta, 3 pieces. And then tak tereketa. So you can use this a lot. Tak tereketa, tak tereketa, tak tereketa. So that's its own Tisra Jati in terms of Bol Jati, how it's overlaying the tal. And then we've chucked the tereketa in front of there to make it 8 matras. So we have tereketa, kete, ketetereketatak, tereketa. But the tereketa is overlay of 2 tereketa, and then we have keta 3 tak tereketa. So you have 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 like this pattern of 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. So this is an interesting pattern that you see a lot, especially in fingering mantras, and the mix of the Bol Jatis in 2s and 3s, and we're going to learn a mix of 5 and 3 next as well. So just showing the different patterns that you can use to make your mantras. So let's go over this again. Tereketa, tereketa, teretere, tereketa. Keta, tereketa, 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 keta, tereketa, tak. Tereketa, tereketa, teretere, tereketa, teketake, tereketa, kenetake, tereketa, ketetere, tereketa, 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 kenetere, kenetak, tereketa. And you can just practice the last one since it's new. And practice the different parts too. Practice those until you're familiar with them, and then you can put the tere so that you can have it in tal in terms of das Pahira tal, what we're learning today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna tere kete kete tere kete tak. And you have to use that tereketa, that's empty hit, K. Tereketa, kene, tereketa, so you can really put a lot of power on that. Then build backwards, then so now we're using, you know, 4 and then tereketa for 4. Practice being able to hit those tes as well. I know we're practicing softly, but practicing softly allows you to have the flexibility to come around and put emphasis on those tes if you want. You don't have to every time, depends what you're doing, but it's nice to have that control where if you want to play, you know, so then practice the whole mantra soft first, and then work on putting emphasis on your tes in certain places, and you know, have fun with the mantra and feel like you're in control of it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. that's how you can use it. Talked about the Jatis. I think we have everything there. Let's go over the hands just once more. So this is tereketa. We know this. Tere, tere, tereketa. Teketake, tereketa. Kenetake, tereketa. And then kenetake, tereketa, 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 kenetereketatak, tereketa. Okay, next mantra. Let's see here. Deredere, deregena, genetere, tereketa, teretere, tereketa, ketetate. So now we're starting to do a little bit guru and lagu, guru being the open, lagu closed, between this relationship of the open sound and the closed sound. We've learned deredere, deregena. We've learned teketereketa. We got teketereketa, ketetereketatak. So now we're putting this into something with a little bit more flavor again, so that you can play kirtan with it. So deredere, deregena. Now we have to get ready for this open hit. Deredere. So this is learning to move your hand this way and then practice this open hit. Deredere in the same mantra. So we have deredere, deregena, genetere, tereketa. Now in this mantra you got deredere, deregena. Not any specific emphasis on this. Deredere, deregena. But then this here, pardon me, is emphasized. So deredere, deregena, genetere, tereketa, teretere, tereketa, and you can also work on getting control of those tas, where as you build up your hand speed and strength and technique, you won't even be able to hear those for a long time. It will be, you'll barely even be able to get your hand up to hit the tas. But then as you get better, it's nice to really be able to hear those clearly. So so you always making sure that you're getting onto it. Like this. So this will take a long time, because this is kind of confusing the hand in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of different subtleties to it. The first one is deregena, coming and making sure that you're getting the ta, then getting ready for the ge and the open as your, so ge, so genetereketatak. So deregena, strong ta, genetereketatak. Then from the ta again, teretereketa, same thing, kenetere, genetereketa. So this here, Bol Jati Catur, Laya Jati Catur. The overlay is 4/4. The Laya Jati is working in 2s and 4s. There's nothing unusual about this. It's just something that is really practicing your techniques in your hands, getting the tas getting used to going from deregena and then putting this ge next. You can really emphasize those two. And then also have those tas. Twisting your wrist this way, twisting your wrist that way, so you're doing both wrist twists in the same mantra. And it's definitely harder than it looks on paper, but at least we're not having any unusual forms to deal with in terms of Bol or Laya Jati, Bol Catur, deregena, overlay of 4, tereketa, we have deregena, everything's in 2s and 4s, tereketa, ketetereketatak, and teretere is its own piece, Catur, ketetereketatak is its own piece. So, last mantra for today is tere. Let me see. Keta. So now we're showing a different overlay. Laya Jati, still 2s and 4s. Tere, keta. There's nothing unusual about the numbers of hits that we're looking at. It's just 2s and 4s. The Bol Jati, now we have tereketa. And this is overlaying in a piece of 5. Tere. You wouldn't look at it in any other way in this particular case. It's 5 matras. Tereketa. Then 3. Tereketa. This gives you 8 different patterns. You could go tereketa. You can also do it like that, but in this case we're showing it this way. But it doesn't matter how you arrange it, as long as you have 8 matras if you're in Das Pahira. Here we're showing a Bol Jati of how the matras are overlaying, and we have a grouping of 5 and a grouping of 3. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So this feels a little weird because it's different than what you're normally used to. Which is 4, you know? And you practice that so much that practicing other patterns of Bol Jatis gets a little confusing. And I don't even use this that much, but in going through this process and writing everything out, now I'm learning to use so much more in my kirtan. So we have tere, keta. So you're playing 4 teres instead of just a 3. 1, 2, 3. Keta makes 4, but now we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Now, so that's one part of it. And then we have, and you could make this or so we'll show different versions of these later, but right now we're just doing one version. Because teretere, if you wanted a true guru, teretereketa would be deregena. And then you could have deregena, which would be hard. But there's lots of mantras like that coming up where you have all dereteres in one line. Or you could make it deregena, and then we have 3, it could be genetere. So tereketa. So that's cool as well. 5 and 3. This mantra we're just going tereketa, and then kenetereketa. So Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So like that, you can use it. What more can we say about this? That's about it for that. It's just the same patterns in terms of twisting your, hand this way. Teketaketa, and then getting ready up again for the open hand, and then the kenetere. So this is just learning this movement, but in different Bol Jati patterns, which you can start to play around with. But yeah, so if you have a mantra like this where we're looking at so this, because there's no guru technically, this could be seen as its own. You wouldn't necessarily use this in kirtan too much because it's not like a complete mantra. So you'd want this to be, you could have, we've got so that's a good starting point, but we need the guru. So then you could have let me see here. Yeah. And then to come into the teretere. So let's see here. I haven't written this out, but but we can't go yet. So so that would be your guru. And then we're gonna go teretereketa to segue in. There. So that would be like a full mantra that I would give you guys, which would be much longer. It would take up more space, be more interesting, and it has the full guru pattern and a full lagu. For now, we're just looking at the basically half of the situation here, and it's just easier to kind of manage. And again, I mean, I could sit here and, you can write so many versions of this, and more of these lessons are meant to empower you to be able to see this and understand the Bol Jati, the Laya Jati, understand what guru and lagu is, and that teketaketa can become deregena, and how to manipulate these mantras. The reason for the last part, I would make this in the guru, and instead of deregena again, it's nice to go into tereketa because it segues nicely into the next teretere part. It's almost like you're moving into the lagu. But so that's how I would do it. And that's kind of it for kind of the really basic, simple stuff. That was my last groupings. Next class, we're going to be getting into quite a bit more advanced techniques that are going to require a lot of explanation and practice to get, but they're kind of the next, step in Mridanga, and it only gets a lot harder from here. But I hope you guys are benefiting somewhat from this, and keep practicing. Hare Krishna.